Guys, I've been living in my own little world for the last several days because in my little corner of the world, some really big news hit in true crime. And we talked about that a little bit last week. It is the news that we have an identity of Clarion County's Penny Doe, the murder victim who was found badly decomposed, face down in a creek bed in Monroe Township, Clarion County, Pennsylvania, July 22nd, 1990. For 36 years, we haven't known her identity, and we were told her identity today. But as I've been kind of in that mode, there has been like tsunami-sized changes in what has been happening in the Siders family case. Of course, we're talking about the four adults, Gary Siders, the younger, his wife Elizabeth Siders, his mom Christina Siders, and his dad Gary Siders, the elder. These are who we are talking about. So much has changed since Friday, and I was like completely out of the know. And I mean, what do I get paid for? I get paid to be in the know. So much has changed, like cataclysmic level changes to the case against these four Siders folks, that we got to talk about it. We got to, and on the surface, it looks like, oh, they've reduced charges. Oh, this is sure they've done terrible things, but I thought, according to, prosecutor Willie Marcher, that it was going to be bigger. It looked smaller. It is bigger. Okay. It is way bigger, way more serious. We're talking about victims not within the family of Gary, Christina, and Elizabeth Siders. We're talking more victims, at least two outside, and a connection to, let's call them a ring of criminals. When we talk about criminal rings, we talk about them in like Stephen Stearns type. You know what I'm talking about. And guys, by the way, I know YouTube's going to demonetize this video as soon as the live stream is done, so I've put up another goal for super chats. I really appreciate your help in making these videos possible. Let me just say that right out of the gate. Thank you for watching, for sharing, for liking, for subscribing, for watching on Spotify Premium Video and listening to the podcast wherever you listen to it. It goes a long way. And thank you to those who are considering super chats on YouTube today, because it's going to get demonetized for sure, because because of the type of crime that we're talking about. So, lest you think that I am not going to talk about Penny Doe, I am going to do that in our headlines section, our segment near the end of the program today. I'm going to tell you all about that, just in case you weren't on the live stream. I live streamed the media conference with the district attorney and the Pennsylvania State Police and the sister of Penny Doe. We will talk about that later, but we got to talk about the Siders. Okay, so we're going to get into the Siders. Now, before we do, though, let's go over here. Let's get our question of the day going, shall we? Let's get our question of the day just to get things rolling. We have homework on this channel. I like to interact with you guys. I love it when you chat. We've got the classiest chat on YouTube. Thanks in no small part to our amazing mods. But our question of the day today is, hey, do you enjoy being frightened, or do you avoid it? Do you like being frightened? And if so, why? I'm not a person who really likes fright, but I know it can feel good. I know that. So tell me, do you enjoy being frightened, or do you avoid it, and why? Put that in the comments. Be sure to put GF in your comments, and that'll get the ball rolling for the classiest chat on YouTube. And in the meantime, let's roll into the Siders family. Javi, let's see that intro. This video contains mature themes and discussions intended only for adult audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello there, my friend. Welcome back to another true crime conversation with me, Gavin Fish. I'm Gavin. Who are you? What's your name? Hey, nice to meet you. Thanks for tuning in. I'm feeling a little spicy today, a little saucy, because in this here dill hole coffee mug, which is available on gavinfish.com, I'm not drinking water today, guys. I've gone crazy. It's just one of those days. That's right. I am drinking blackberry lemonade Crystal Light. And it is delicious. Hey, thank you very much for joining me today. It's a good day. It's a busy day. And thanks for joining me wherever you are. Please, in your comments, tell me where you're tuning in from. I just absolutely love that. And if you're new here, if you put GF in your comment, that helps me see it. It highlights it on my end, makes it so it stands out. And I don't guarantee I'm going to read every single one of them on the air, but I tend to read a whole lot of them. What's our question of the day again? Our question of the day is, do you enjoy being frightened or do you avoid it? And I would add to that, why or why not? Let's start off with Marie Jubenville. Marie saying, what is Marie saying? Awesome conference coverage today, Gavin. I enjoyed watching it live. Well, I'm glad that you did, Marie. Thank you very much. I was pulling double duty. I had my phone out there doing the conference, so doing it live on my YouTube channel. And then also, I was the kind of spokeshole for my day job for Explore Clarion. So it felt so good to know Penny Doe's name and to be introduced to her family background, be introduced to her sister. It was really something else. And thank you, Marie. Thanks for that support and thanks for watching live. Christine Meadows, thank you very much for your super chat. I really appreciate you. You guys are so awesome. I can always count on you guys to support me. And it's just, I don't know, I get blown away by you guys. My goodness. All right, what do we have? Montana Sunshine says, Gavin, I do not and watch no spooky movies either. Linda Bear says, no. Daisy Doodle says, I avoid it. I only like positive feelings. That's really funny because last weekend when I was in St. Louis visiting friends, my, for those of you who are new here, I have a confession to make. I am not a true crime fan. Like in the what would we call it? The classic sense, right? I did not grow up watching Cops or Unsolved Mysteries or anything like that. It hasn't been. I got hooked on it because I was pulled into it by my friend Rick when we started the channel Solve Crimes with Rick and Gavin. So anyway, my friend that came in to visit our other friend, both of us were in town with my wife, and anyway, we were visiting. He's like, have you seen the Saturday Night Live sketch? It's the women talking about relaxing by watching horrific true crime. And I had never seen it before, but sometimes it's like, yeah, I only like positive feelings, but I also really like to talk about murder, right? And I'm not picking on you, Daisy. It just cracked me up, right? We relax sometimes by covering and talking about true crime, but that's different than being scared, isn't it? Elizabeth McMasters, one of our intrepid moderators, thank you for being here, says real life is frightening enough, so no, I avoid it. Becky Johnson from Florida says, I hate being frightened, live in fear far too long, hate it. Well, I'm hoping you're overcoming it. Mooney, our another one of our intrepid moderators, says, question of the day, I only like it when I'm on a ride at an amusement park, a scary ride. So do you go to, okay, have you guys seen, for those of you who have never been to Santa Cruz, California, have you seen the movie 80s classic, Kiefer Sutherland, Alex Winter, Diane Wiest, the Coreys, Feldman and Haim, called The Lost Boys? That was filmed in Santa Cruz, and there's a beach boardwalk, and one of the rides is the haunted house. And it's got lots of these jump scares and stuff like that. No. The answer for me is no. I've done it once. Done it once. I don't even think you ride. I think you walk through. It's been so long since I've done it because, like, I don't want to be scared. Now, I like butterflies in my little tummy tum tum. I like roller coasters and stuff, but I don't want to be scared. I'm with you. No, I'm not with you, Mooney. You like it on a ride in an amusement park. No, no, no. I'm not with you, but I'm glad it makes you happy. RH Teddy says, I avoid it because it makes my heart race and sometimes makes me shaky. Well, I'm glad that you are in tune with yourself. Fuerte Fitness 2128. She's fuerte. My name is Fuerte. Yeah, very good. Okay, Gavin, I like it. It connects me to my childhood, like ghost stories, Chupacabra, the boogeyman, etc. It was lots of fun with my brother getting spooked. All right. See, I'm not in your camp, but I have daughters that are. They absolutely love it. C. Delaney says, I ran my own paranormal investigation group and continue to urbex today. I'd say yes. Awesome. Who do we have here celebrating it's Jenny celebrating 8 months as a fanatic, saying, make sure y'all are hitting the like button and thanking the wonderful mods for their hard work. Thanks for the great reporting you do, Gavin. I appreciate the channel. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Elizabeth McMaster's coming in with a super chat. Thank you very much for that, Elizabeth. You rule. Sister Mary Elephant. This is reminding me of when our daughter was Sister Mary Amnesia in the classic musical Nonsense. There was not a Sister Mary Elephant in that cast, as I remember. Good evening from the Lou, and yes, I do enjoy a campy horror flick. Awesome. Sharky says, I do not like scary movies type frightened, but love roller coasters type drama. Tina says, I absolutely do not like being frightened. I don't like the feeling of my heart in my throat. My husband scares me all the time and thinks that's hilarious. He said we should start a YouTube channel. Wow. He needs to repent, see the light, and make the switch. If you hate it, he should stop. Though I do think those TikTok channels and stuff where they're scaring each other, I think they are hilarious. I'm sorry to say. Lake Erie says, heck no, life is frightening enough. Elizabeth says, I drink my sugar-free Crystal Light iced tea every day. Nice. I've been drinking too much of it lately. I love the blackberry lemonade. Nina Pokora, greetings from Bulgaria. I am avoiding being frightened because I truly love boring life. Good on you. Let's see. Sharky says, I lived in Santa Cruz for 41 years. Lost Boys was fabulous. It's a classic. It's classic. Mooney saying, I am saying when the actual ride is scary. Okay. Gotcha. Thank you guys for playing along. That gets us going. Gets us some fun getting to know each other time. And I just really enjoy that segment. Okay. Guys, let's I don't know how to ease into this, okay? I just don't know how to ease into this. But according to officials, Elizabeth Siders and her husband, Gary Siders, the younger, done messed up. They done messed up more than what was previously thought. And you know what? I should have listened to my gut, because Prosecutor William Archer in one of his filings was like, hey, there are some serious crimes coming down here. All right. There's some serious crimes coming down. And I was like, okay, there are serious crimes coming down. However, when the indictment came, they had become less serious. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I don't have to go live on this. I'm already talking about Penny Doe. It's less serious. And then it turns out there are other indictments, y'all. There are other indictments. They are not public yet, but we have received some information. And so let's go back in time. Hey, Wanda, now is a good time. Wanda, give us like some some flashback music, will you? Give us just a little flashback music. Was that flashback music though? I don't know. Try again, Wanda. Yeah, let's take us back. That's much. But Wanda is our music director, by the way, guys. She does a terrific job. Just wasn't what I was looking for on the first one, but you know, you can't bat 1,000. Let's go back in time to August 21st. Just this past Friday, I want to take you to 10tv.com and read you this article headline. The AG says, separate child SA case involving the Siders led investigators to the discovery of the 16 children. Guys, we thought, and I think we thought for good reason. I think we thought we were thinking because of thoughts. I think we thought for good reason that it was the indecent exposure charges that had taken investigators to the Siders' home. Nay. At least according to this report. Okay? And there's more. There's more that just came out a few hours ago. But I just want us to catch up here, okay? Dateline, Vinton County, Ohio. A child SA investigation into Gary Siders Jr. and Elizabeth Siders, which began earlier this year, led to the discovery of the 16 children at the center of the Vinton County child endangerment case, according to Attorney General Andy Wilson. I think I've got a picture of Andy here. Wilson's office confirmed that Gary Jr. and Elizabeth, along with Gary Siders Sr. and Christina Siders, were indicted on child endangerment charges on Friday. And indeed, we have those indictments. We're going to go over those. Okay. With the indictments came additional insight into how investigators discovered what was going on inside the family's Hamden home. The Attorney General's office said in December 2025, the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation Special Victims Unit opened an investigation into allegations of SA involving dos chiquitos, 2 children. That investigation led to the indictments of 2 Hocking County men, 23-year-old Josh Saunders and 40-year-old Brandon Henderson Sr. They were arrested on Friday. And here we have Joshua Saunders, for those of you watching video, the younger of the 2, and the elder of the 2, Brandon Henderson Sr. They were booked into Southeastern Ohio Regional Jail. Saunders, the younger man, was indicted on 3 counts of the dreaded R word and 1 count of gross sexual imposition. And I think gross is used not in the way my wife uses the word gross. I think it means major, right? Henderson, the older of the 2 that were indicted, was indicted on 21 charges, including 8 counts of SB, the old battery involving, 5 counts of endangering children, and 8 counts of gross sexual imposition. I don't know why I'm just in habit. I know this is getting demonetized. I might as well say it, okay? I'm gonna read this again. Saunders was indicted on 3 counts of rape and 1 count of gross sexual imposition. Henderson was indicted on 21 charges, including 8 counts of sexual battery, 5 counts of endangering children, and 8 counts of gross sexual imposition. Okay, now I have not skirted it. I definitely know after the live stream ends, I'm getting demonetized on this video. So thank you to all of you who are supporting me here. Okay. Did I mention my patrons over on Patreon and my members here? You guys, best. You're the best. In fact, now that we got a couple hundred people here, I think I can gift. No, I'm done. I've already sent my 10 free. Dang it. Okay, I wanted to, but I cannot send any more free memberships. But thank you to those of you who have joined. You guys are awesome. Okay. Information about that case led to authorities to begin a separate investigation in March on Gary Jr. and Elizabeth involving allegations of unlawful sexual conduct with a minor, Andy Wilson's office said. The couple is accused of engaging in sexual conduct with a minor more than 10 years younger than their own age between January and September 2022. According to Wilson's office, the victim is not a member of the immediate family. Not one of their children. Okay. On June 30th, as we know, officials executed a search warrant at the Siders' Omer Street home in connection with those allegations, not the indecent exposure allegations. When law enforcement executed the warrant, they discovered the 16 children living in the home. The indictments allege that the children suffered serious physical harm, the Attorney General's office said. Gary Jr. and Elizabeth were each indicted on 2 counts of sexual battery and 2 counts of unlawful sexual conduct with a minor in the initial investigation. So if they're talking about the couple is accused of engaging in sexual conduct with a minor more than 10 years younger their own age, but then there are 2 counts, so there might be multiple. It's hard to tell the way it's written, which is no fault of the writers. It might be that they received the information in such a way that it can't be clear. I don't know if it's multiple acts or multiple victims, but either way, both G2, the younger Gary Siders, and his wife Elizabeth have been indicted on 2 counts of sexual battery, 2 counts of unlawful sexual conduct with a minor in that initial investigation, at least according to this report. In the child endangerment case, Gary Jr., Elizabeth, and Christina were indicted on 19 charges. And we're going to get to that. Some of them have been knocked down to F3s, third-degree felonies, some to misdemeanors, but there are more charges. But just in this indictment, there are 2 separate indictments, right? And then Gary Sr. has 16 charges. And then during a press conference on July 1st, authorities said that the indictment was isolated to the incident was isolated to the family. The suspects involved are the grandmother, grandfather, mother, father of the children. And okay, so we've covered all that. Now, let's get to, and I want to bring up faces here just one more time. Here's Joshua Saunders, 23, and here is Brandon Henderson, 40, right? Is that what they said he is? 40 years old. So there's Saunders, 23. There is Henderson, 40. They've been indicted in all those counts that I read to you, okay? Now, Wanda, we're moving forward in time. I don't think that we have like a time travel thing, so it's fine. It's fine. Okay. This just came out, written by NBC4 Investigates, Katie Millard. The dateline is MacArthur, Ohio. This came out just a few short hours ago. And the headline reads, "New indictments released for additional men connected to Siders' case." Okay. The 2 new figures connected tangentially to the Siders family case in Vinton County were arraigned on child sexual abuse charges Monday morning. So they were arraigned this morning. And I'm not gonna scrub this clean, right? This is like I normally do. Okay, so they were arraigned this morning. Brandon Henderson, 40, and Josh Saunders, 23, were arraigned in Vinton County on Monday on a combined 25 counts of child sex crimes. The 2 were being investigated by the state for intra-family sexual abuse in their own family. Intra-family, right? Yeah. Leading to the discovery and rescue of 16 children from a Hamden family home or Hamden home on June 30th. Both pleaded not guilty according to court records, and then blah, blah, blah. Okay. In December, the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigations began investigating Saunders and Henderson for alleged sexual abuse against children. Their investigation led them to begin a second investigation into Elizabeth Siders, 34, and Gary Siders Jr., 36. Doing the math on this, that charge, that's a weird charge that it's a minor more than 10 years. They're junior. Well, yeah, they're 34 and 36. All minors are more than 10 years. But I think the way that the Ohio statute is written is that the greater the gap in age, the more serious the crime. That's at least how I'm reading it. Okay, their investigation led them to begin a second investigation into Elizabeth Siders, 34, and Gary Siders Jr., 36, who were each charged on Friday with 2 counts of sexual battery and 2 counts of unlawful sexual conduct with a minor. Now, I have not seen those cases in the Vinton County, on the Vinton County website, but I'm just gonna look real quick. Just bear with me real quick. I just want to look one more time. If I look up the Siders family to see if there are any other Vinton County cases, and there are not. But we learned in that previous one that we're in Hocking County. So let's keep this up right here so you guys can see it. Then let me just come over here and go to Hocking County Common Pleas Court case lookup. Okay, Common Pleas Court, Hocking County. Let's see if there's a lookup system here. It looks like there is. It's Court View. See if we see anything, except I don't see anything in Hocking County either. So it will have been filed in some county. It is not so far in Vinton County, and it doesn't appear to be in Hocking County either. I'm going to try to dig this out, okay? But not now. We'll figure it out for maybe tomorrow's show. Okay. So in December, we read that. Okay, when investigators went to collect a DNA sample, there's DNA. When investigators went to connect a DNA sample from Gary Siders Jr. in connection to the second investigation, they discovered the 16 children. The children, ages 1 to 18, are in state custody. It's weird that they've got an investigation into both G2 and Elizabeth, but they were going to get DNA from G2. Okay, Elizabeth and G2 were each charged with 16 counts of child endangerment. Arrested and charged alongside them were his parents, Christina and Gary Siders Sr. NBC4 Investigates uncovered that Henderson is known to the Siders as the longtime partner of Gary Siders Jr.'s sister and the possible father to at least one of the cousins of the 16 children. Okay, one of the cousins. Okay, not one of the 16 children. Woo. Henderson was indicted on 21 counts. Okay, real quick, let me just open this. Mute the tab. This from the 21st. Okay, so doesn't matter. We're good. All right, so Henderson, we have a picture of him here. Brandon Henderson is the longtime partner of G2's sister. So if they were married, which it doesn't appear they were, but that's like G2's brother-in-law, G1 and Christina's son-in-law. Okay, so this is a familial affair here, okay? Henderson was indicted on 21 counts, 1 count of endangering children, a felony 2. 2 counts of endangering children, felony 3, 4 counts of gross sexual imposition, felony 3, 4 counts of gross sexual imposition, felony 4, 8 counts of sexual battery, felony 4, 2 counts of endangering children, misdemeanor 1. According to the indictment, Henderson's sexual abuse included charges of gross sexual imposition toward at least one minor who was less than 13 years old over a 5-year period. Oh no. Guys, we have to do the math again. This is a Madeline Soto situation. Starting at the age of 8. Starting at the age of 8. Oh my goodness, I need a break. Let me pause to thank Robin for the super. Did it come up? Sorry. Thank you, Robin, for the super chat. You are amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I need a moment though, guys. You know what is, the kind of stuff that goes through my head here, is that, what was his name who I talked to? Give me a second. Let me think about this. It was, it was Sabrina Atkins' lawyer, Ned Pillersdorf. Remember, okay, my mind is racing over all the cases that we have covered on this channel, but okay, if you guys don't know about the Madeline Soto case, it is a tragic case of a little girl who, starting at the age of 8, was sexually abused by her mother's longtime boyfriend, a man named Stephen Stearns. He pleaded guilty to it, sparing us all a trial and sparing us the details. But over 5 years, he abused this little girl until he murdered her. So that's the one case that I brought up. The other case, the Kevin Mullins case, the reason that this kind of sticks out to me is Ned Pillersdorf, as an attorney, longtime attorney, he was talking about people that were being abused inside the Letcher County Jail. And he talked about knowing of 4 cases where there were allegations of sexual abuse inside the Letcher County Jail. And he said, if there were 4, there are 40. Right? And here we are. We have our second case where a grown man is disgustingly, abusively, allegedly abusing a little girl from the time she is 8 years old to the time she is 13 years old. It's Stephen Stearns all over again. Only thankfully it appears that there's not a murder here. But out of the 2 classifications of crime that we're talking about here, I think murder is the lesser crime. Oh my goodness. That's just my opinion. You guys are free to disagree, but oh my goodness. Now, I just want to look up Ohio law, gross sexual imposition. Okay. Under Ohio Revised Code 2907.05, GSI, gross sexual imposition, is defined as non-consensual sexual contact. Javi, I need to take 2 on this. I'm stirred up. Oh my goodness. Okay. GSI is defined as non-consensual sexual contact, such as touching an erogenous zone for sexual arousal accomplished by force, threat, impairment, or involving a victim under the age of 13. It is a serious felony charge that does not require sexual penetration. Oh, this pisses me off. Why can't we as a society, we've got to protect our kids, man. We've got to protect our kids. Okay, Henderson, the brother-in-law of G2 and Elizabeth, is also accused of having sexual activity with at least one minor under the age of 18 in 2025. He's 40 years old, everybody. The victim or victims are known to not be among the 16 Siders' children. That's just an added detail for us to know. It doesn't make it better or worse, right? It's just all bad. Henderson is also accused of forcing someone to have sexual contact by force or threat for most of 2025, although that charge does not note whether the victim was a minor. So it could be that he was raping another minor or another adult. Saunders, the younger, is accused of raping. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. A 9-year-old in 2020 and a child between the ages of 10 and 12 between 2020 and 2023. He's also accused of doing the same thing to a 9 or 10-year-old between June 2022 and June 2023. Let's see, finishing her report, she says, Gary Siders Sr. was indicted on 16 charges of child endangerment, and the other 3 Siders adults were indicted on 19 counts of child endangerment. The severity of the charges ranged from child to child, with some children allegedly suffering more substantial levels of physical harm. NBC4 Investigates has been able to track the Siders family back for nearly 2 decades. However, the child endangerment charges appear to date back to June 1st, 2022, and no earlier. And they got that from the indictment note, which we will do. The sexual abuse charges for Gary Jr. and Elizabeth Siders are not yet public. I just want to see if I can go to Ohio Attorney General media releases. Let me just see what they've put out there. Yeah, there are. Okay, let's read this real quick so that we can go directly to the source. Okay, I'm going to see if I can get this a little bigger for us here and still see it all. It doesn't look like it's a responsive design, so we're going to have to go back just a little bit. Okay, so this was the news release on the 21st out of the Ohio Attorney General's office. Vinton County Grand Jury issues indictments in child sex abuse endangerment cases. Okay. A Vinton County grand jury today issued indictments in 3 criminal cases involving sexual abuse and child endangerment. Vinton County Prosecutor William Archer, Vinton County Sheriff Ryan Kane, and Ohio Attorney General Andy Wilson announced. The charges, so it's all in Vinton County, looks like. But, okay, the charges stem from criminal investigations conducted by the Vinton County Sheriff's Office and the Ohio Bureau of Investigation. The cases are being prosecuted by Vinton County Prosecutor's Office with assistance from the Highland County Prosecutor's Office and the Attorney General's Special Prosecution Section. I think that means that it's the same team, right? So we've got Bill Archer, who is the Vinton County Prosecutor. We've got Highland County Prosecutor Annika Collins, and Attorney General's Office Assistant Prosecutor Kara Keating. I think that the case has remained in their 3 capable sets. They don't have 3 capable hands. I believe they have 6. To the best of my knowledge, there are 3 sets of capable hands. Okay. Investigation 1, says the news release. In December 2025, at the request of the Vinton County Sheriff's Office, BCI Special Victims Unit opened an investigation into allegations of sexual abuse involving 2 children. This investigation resulted in indictments against 2 South Bloomingville men. let's open. Why did that do that? Let me just open a new private window. There we go. Bring this here. South Boonville, Ohio. Let's look at a map real quick just to see where they are. And let's get directions from Hamden so we can see how far away it is. So it's about a 23.5 mile drive, a little over half an hour away north of Hamden, but would still be in Vinton County. For those of you wondering, we're channeling our inner Gisela here. This is the southeast corner of the great state of Ohio, very close to the West Virginia border. And it's, I think we call Ohio the Midwest. I think that's still part of the Midwest, right? But approaching the northeast of the United States, that's where we are. Okay. Okay, so Josh Saunders was indicted on 4 charges, 3 counts of rape, first-degree felony, 1 count of gross sexual imposition, third-degree felony. I don't know why I did 2. Third-degree felony. Brandon Henderson Sr., 40, was indicted on 21 charges, 1 count of endangering children, a felony 2, 2 counts of endangering children, a felony 3, 4 counts of gross sexual imposition, a felony 3, 4 counts of gross sexual imposition, a felony 4, 8 counts of sexual battery, felony 4, 2 counts of endangering children, misdemeanor 1. The men were arrested today without incident by the Vinton and Ross County Sheriff's Offices and BCI. Ooh. Okay, so give me a second. Let's bring up a picture. Let's look at Ross County. Ross County, Ohio, common, please, docket. Let me just see if they have the same kind of record search here. Looks like they do. It is court viewed. Let me see if we can. Let's see if the Siders cases are over in there at all. Gary. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Okay, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Let's just keep reading this. Bring it back over here. Okay. So that's investigation number 1. Investigation number 2. Information obtained in the first investigation prompted BCI in March 2026 to open a second investigation, this one involving allegations of unlawful sexual conduct with a minor. On June 30th, authorities executed a search warrant at 182 Omer Street. We know what house that is, a residence in Hamden. This investigation led to the indictments of Gary Siders Jr., 36, and his wife Elizabeth Siders, 33. G2 is indicted on 4 charges, 2 counts of sexual battery, F3, 2 counts of unlawful sexual conduct with a minor, F3. Elizabeth was also indicted on 4 charges, 2 counts of sexual battery, F3, 2 counts of unlawful sexual conduct with a minor, F3. The indictments allege that between January and September 2022, the defendants engaged in sexual conduct with a minor more than 10 years younger than their own age. The victim is not a member of their immediate family. And then investigation 3 is the big one that we've all been looking at, right? When law enforcement executed the search warrant at the Omer Street address, authorities discovered 16 children living in a house in unsafe conditions. The indictments allege that the children suffered serious physical harm. Gary Siders Jr., the children's father, was indicted on 19 charges. Now, we can go into the documents here real quick. I can just show you. We've got the documents here. They are very similar to what they were the first time in terms of they properly and appropriately do not tell us who the victims are. And there's really not a narrative like we see in a lot of probable cause affidavits. There is just the charges. So we could go through them, but I think just going through this right here is going to give us enough. Okay. But remember that they were first charged originally with 17, but then it became 16 counts of child endangerment. Every count was a second-degree felony. That has changed. I think the charges have been way reduced. Well, I know the charges have been way reduced, but also we've got these other investigations that are happening that bring with them more serious charges. And it's making me like, during this whole time, I have been asking the question, is Elizabeth a victim here? And she might be, right? She might be a victim here. But also, it's not just, I mean, they came to get G2's DNA, but they didn't just charge G2, they charged G2 and Elizabeth. So I have a hard time feeling any type of sympathy toward the boogeyman in this one, right? Or the boogie woman, so to speak. These are serious allegations against, and they're tied to his brother-in-law's really, really terrible charges of abusing an 8-year-old girl over 5 years to the time she's 13 years old. And that, guys, that just makes me angry. Boiling mad on this, man. Okay, but anyway, Gary Siders Jr., the children's father, was indicted on 19 charges, 2 counts of endangering children, a second-degree felony, 10 counts of endangering children, a third-degree felony, and 7 counts of endangering children, a misdemeanor 1. So we've got a total of 19 charges there. Elizabeth Siders, the children's mother, was indicted on 19 charges. By the way, I don't dispute that she is the children's mother, but if we've got all this stuff going on in the family, even tangentially, I want to know who the father is of these 16 children. And right now they're running under the assumption that these children belong to G2, but I want to make sure. And I want to just take a quick break here. Just a quick break because I don't want this to disappear before. I don't want this to disappear. I wanted to thank Nina Pokora for her €5 super chat. Thank you very much, Nina. I really appreciate you. I just don't want to. Sometimes my system will hide those, and I don't want to miss it. So thank you. And we're going to come back to your comments. I see that you guys have lots of comments going on here. Okay, so Elizabeth Siders, originally charged with 16 counts, felony 2 counts of endangering children, has been indicted on the same thing as G2. 2 counts of felony 2, endangering children, 10 counts of felony 3, endangering children, 7 counts of misdemeanor endangering children. You know, I think we might want to look at one of these documents because it gives dates. But okay, and then Gary Siders Sr., G1, age 73, he was indicted on 16 charges, 10 counts of endangering children, F3, so his have been downgraded as well, and 6 counts of endangering children, a misdemeanor 1. And then Christina Siders was given the same charges as G2 and Elizabeth, 2 counts of second-degree felony in endangering children, 10 counts of third-degree felony endangering children, and 7 counts of misdemeanor endangering children. The indictments in this case include charges in the alternative, meaning that multiple counts or different theories of a crime have been charged for the same acts. Okay. Doing so allows for a more complete and appropriate presentation of evidence to the court and jury. And then, of course, indictments are criminal allegations. Defendants are presumed innocent until proved guilty in a court of law. Now let's go over here real quick.
These cases began as an investigation into...
This is a 1-minute statement from Bill Archer. Let me make it a little bit bigger. 1 minute, 12 seconds from Mr. Archer, the prosecutor.
These cases began as an investigation into family child sex abuse. Law enforcement sought the DNA of Gary Siders Jr. related to the child sex abuse case. Once Siders Jr. was located, search warrants were executed to secure his DNA for genetic testing. Upon serving the search warrants for the child sex abuse case, the existence and condition of the 16 children at the Omer Street house became known. The child sex abuse cases involve intra-family relations and do not pose a risk to the general public, and I would also add, does not involve human trafficking. This case all started with diligent Dollar General clerks calling authorities with concerns over children they observed. We ask the public to be mindful of the circumstances around them, especially involving children. We continue to ask for the public's respect for the rights and privacy of the child victims in this case. I'd like to add a thank you to the Vinton County Sheriff's Office and BCI for their investigative efforts, which have been amazing. This case is going to be prosecuted by myself, Kara Keating, Assistant Attorney General, and Annika Collins, Highland County Prosecuting Attorney. Thank you.
Okay, terrific. Wow, way to go, Dollar General employees. Let's see what the video statement from Sheriff Kane says.
A Vinton County grand jury today has issued indictments in 3 criminal cases involving sexual abuse and child endangerment. These charges stem from criminal investigations conducted by the Vinton County Sheriff's Office and the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigations, BCI. The cases are being prosecuted by the Vinton County Prosecutor's Office with the assistance from the Highland County Prosecutor's Office and the Ohio Attorney General's Special Prosecutions Unit. In December of 2025, at the request of the Vinton County Sheriff's Office, BCI's Special Victims Unit opened an investigation into allegations of sexual abuse involving 2 children. Information obtained in this investigation prompted BCI in March of 26 to open a second investigation, this one involving allegations of unlawful sexual conduct with a minor. On June 30th, authorities executed a search warrant at a residence in Hamden, Ohio, and Vinton County on Omer Street. There have been a lot of speculation and questions regarding the June 30th presence on Omer Street in Hamden.
Sure.
These indictments provide some insight into the ongoing investigation. However, to preserve the integrity of the ongoing investigation and to protect the victims, I conclude my statement here. I am thankful for the work of my deputies and our fellow partners at BCI. We will continue to pursue justice in these cases.
Okay. So, wow, Dollar General employees having awesome, having concerns and reporting those concerns. That is amazing. Truly amazing. I am so grateful that we found out that little detail. So, let me, before we move on, let's just look at, I can't zoom up on it. It's kind of weird what's happening to my Acrobat, but this is the Gary Siders Jr. / the second, however we want to call him, G2, Gary the Younger. These different counts give us a little more indication as to what the dates are, because with those 16 counts, those 16 original counts, to me it felt like, oh, they found these children in these deplorable conditions on this date. There are 16 of them, and therefore there are 16 counts of these felony 2 things. But here we've got more. We've got more, right? So the endangering children, count 1, endangering children. We're just going to look at G2 here. It's the same for Elizabeth and the same for Christina. But it alleges between June 1st, 2022 and May 29th of 2026 that they created, they endangered the children. On count 2, it's on June 1st through June 30th. There's child endangerment. Count 3, June 1st to June 30th. Count 4, June 1st to June 30th. Count 5, a misdemeanor, June 1st to June 30th. Count 6, wait a minute, June 1st, 2022. So June 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2026. So we're covering a 4-year span here. So June 21, June to June on all these. I'm just scrolling through for those who aren't watching. If you're listening, I'm just scrolling through them. All except the beginning one so far has been June 1, 2022 through June 30th, 2026. Yeah, I just want to keep looking. So I think it's everything. Oh, okay. And then we get down here to one that's a little more specific from January 4th, 2024 to June 30th, 2026. That's a misdemeanor endangering children. There's another one with the same dates. That's another misdemeanor endangering children. January 20th through 20, January 20th, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. That's another misdemeanor endangering children. There's a second one that has the same dates. So yeah, I mean, I think they're building a case that that they're going to. I think they're building a case beyond. And this is just for this one, man. The more serious one is the sex abuse stuff, right? I don't know. Is it more serious? We're talking about the lives of children. It's all serious. It's all serious. But it looks like they've got a case building, and as soon as these indictments become public, you better believe it that I am going to find it. I want to go over just one more quick little searcheroo. Extend my session. This is in this Vinton. Okay, let me go to search here real quick and let's find Henderson. See if we can find his case. What was Henderson's name again? It was Brandon Henderson Sr. Okay. So let me show you this. This is the court view website for Vinton County, and this is Brandon Henderson, the 40-year-old, the brother-in-law of G2. These are the charges against him, 5 charges on this one. We do have the indictment here. Let's just see if it'll load. Yeah, very similar. And of course, they have appropriately and thankfully redacted the names of the victim. But there isn't like a traditional probable cause affidavit. There isn't a narrative. There are just lists of charges which we have gone through. So I will get all of this stuff. I will get downloaded and I'll go through it with a fine tooth comb. But let's go over to see what your comments are. I think maybe I've probably missed some of them, and I'm sorry about that. But let me just scroll through here all the way to the bottom. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Becky Johnson saying clearly the Siders family has a pattern here. Lady Bav saying, I wonder if drugs were involved given the part of the state this is happening in. I've lived in Ohio my whole life. These counties have a rep. They're also beautiful country. Isn't it funny how that works? Right? That's it's a sad, sad thing. Marie says the Madeline case was when I started watching you. I lived in Kissimmee, Florida for over 30 years. All these guys are gross. Oh, it's just, yeah. Agreed. Agreed. Let me keep on scrolling. You guys are keeping it classy. I love how you guys keep it classy in the comments, man. Montana Sunshine saying both men were married to Sider's sister Virginia. One of the sisters has guardianship of the child. Both of those men, the 40-year-old and the 23-year-old, is that what you're saying? Huh. Let's see. Becky's saying, I'm pretty sure they're doing DNA on all the 16 kids. I'm sure they will. And I really hope so. Keep on scrolling. Carol saying, I'll bet they have electronic trails due to the specific dates. I bet you're right. I bet there's video, there's photography, just the sick stuff that like Stephen Stearns did, right? Oh, Teresa, this is a great comment. The dates listed on the charges seem to be coordinated with dates of birth, at least for the younger children. Great observation. Good job. We don't know about toxicology tests or anything like that. Yeah, Clarinet Girl, as a child victim, the passage of time helps to heal emotional scars, but I can never forget. Yeah. Joshua says the ink in the margins. Joshua is the son. His father is in prison for murder. Henderson is his stepdad. Okay, thank you. So it is the so-called brother-in-law, let's call him, of G2 / son-in-law of G1 and Christina / son, I guess, nephew of G2 and Elizabeth and grandson of G1 and Christina. I think I got that correct. We're going to have to create a family tree. It's crazy. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, let's leave it there on this one for now. But Wanda, can you help me please with just a little transition music? Let's just transition to happiness. Whew. This is a tough case, guys. In case you guys are wondering, Wanda is playing all the instruments. She's got the arms of the Hydra. She is amazing. Plays it live in a little sound booth on the other side of the camera. Wanda, you're just amazing. Okay, whew. All right, Wanda, we can cut that off. Thank you very much. All right, guys, let's, what I typically do is we go into our headlines section. No, Gavin, you're getting ahead of yourself. Instead of doing true crime headlines today, I want to talk, and good news today, I want to talk a little bit about Penny Doe. But before we do that, let's do 3 questions. Let's go for it.
It's 3 questions with Gavin Fish.
Okie dokie, guys. In this segment, I answer 3 of the questions that you send in to me to my email address, 3questions@gavinfish.com, 3questions@gavinfish.com. My solemn promise to you, nay, my pledge, nay, my covenant is that I will answer all your questions. I will not dodge any. I will answer them all to the best of my ability, but I get to choose the order, and I'll do them 3 at a time. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, question number 1 comes from Kelly. Kelly asks, do you have any phobias, such as a fear of spiders, snakes, etc.? I think a phobia, if I'm correct, is an irrational fear, right? So I do not fear spiders. I do not have an irrational fear of snakes, though I do have a fear of being bitten by venomous snakes, and I've gotten close. Like, I was out mountain biking as a young man and accidentally landed on, can't remember which type of rattlesnake that was, but he was angry at me. And that could have been really, really ugly. So, but I don't think that's irrational. My only phobia that I know that I have is I am claustrophobic. I do not like to be in enclosed spaces. That's my phobia. By the way, brownie points for questions that you send in that are good questions for y'all to answer. So please play along. Question number 2 comes to us from John. And if I remember, John has 2 questions today. John's question is, would you rather be able to erase any memory of your own or erase any memory someone else has of you? That's a good question. I like that question. No, I cherish and value my memories. In my hierarchy of value, like not of values, but of value, valuing things, people, whatever. I would say it goes Kimberly number one. The kids are a multi-way tie, right? And then my folks and my siblings are a multi-way tie, and then my memories. Like it's definitely in the top five for me. So I do not want to erase any memory, even the painful ones. When I was back in St. Louis, you guys know that when I was 14 years old, my best friend died, and I don't like to compare. As I've grown up, I I haven't wanted to compare the pain that I have felt with the pain of his siblings and especially his parents because I don't know what that feels like. But it was extremely painful for 14-year-old me. And while I'm no longer sad about Danny's death, I am easily brought back in my mind to that moment. And that makes me sad, but I cherish it. Like I want to hold on to it tightly. And that is probably my most painful moment in my life. So, yeah. Uh, Now, the second part of this question is good because, yeah, I would like to erase so many memories that people have of me when I was a young man. Can I have multiples, please, Alex? That's so, yeah, for me, it's the latter. It's the latter. I'm embarrassed about the person I was, but I also try to extend grace even to myself, who I really, really need it, especially for young me. Great question, John. I'd love to hear your answers to this. And then question number three, also from John, same John. Why do so many strange true crime related things happen in Utah? This is a terrific question. I will tell you, and Utah is the state of my birth. I have family members still living in Utah. It's where my grandparents are buried. It is where my parents were born and raised. I was raised in California, but born in Utah. It's a state that I love. It is a beautiful, beautiful place. One of the wonderful things about Utah is they are extremely transparent, especially when you compare them to other states. And so you will find that there is more true crime news coming out of Utah than there are many other states. And you can guess what the other states are that where lots of true crime comes out of, right? Florida, same reason, very transparent state. Idaho, very transparent state. Uh, let's see, Mississippi, very transparent state. Kentucky, very transparent state, right? There are just those states that have laws that err toward the side of transparency rather than opacity. I almost said opaqueness, but I don't think that's a word. Utah is one of the most transparent states in the nation when it comes to open records requests, to right to know. I I think they call them Freedom of Information Act requests in the state of Utah. Every state has its own law, and they call it different things. But I think it's called FOIA in the state of Utah, and it is so easy to get records. In fact, most times you don't even have to request them. You just go to the website of, like Ohio, like we've been doing on this case. You just go to the website and you look at the case and you grab the docs, and it's that easy. So I think that's the reason why so many true crime stories come out of the state of Utah, come out of the state of Ohio, Florida, Mississippi, Kentucky, all the ones that I just mentioned. It's not that more crime happens per capita, though I don't know that. I haven't looked up the statistics. But my belief is it's because they are openly transparent states. And those guys are your three questions. Now, we're going to do things a little bit differently today. Please, though, give me answers to your questions, right? Do you have any phobias? Would you rather be able to erase a memory of your own or any memory someone else has of you? And I don't know, what your thoughts are on why so many strange true crime related things happen in the state of Utah and like the state of Florida, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Okay. What I want to do next is, and I didn't, Gavin, you are such an amateur. What we can do is we can go over to the Book of Faces. And I want to bring to your attention a post that I put right here. Okay, I'll bring up photos. Here we go. Guys, in Clarion County, and we talked about this last week, so I'm not going to rehash the whole thing. But in Clarion County, Pennsylvania, which is on the western side of Pennsylvania, kind of midway up the state north to south, and on the western side, there has been a case of an unidentified victim of murder, and she has been called Penny Doe. The reason she was called Penny Doe is in each of her front pockets was a penny. And today, a press conference was held at the Clarion County Administration Building in the conference room with District Attorney Drew Welsh, one of the only people that I ever feel short standing up next to. It's really funny, is anytime I show myself standing, people go, "Oh man, you're kind of tall, taller than I thought. I only ever see you from your chest up." But I stand at 6'2". I think Drew is probably 6'6", 6'7", something like that. Big guy, nice guy, good district attorney. But he held a press conference today and announced the identity of Penny Doe. In this picture, I just want to show you, this is a woman named Tanya, and she is the sister of Penny Doe. Penny's actual name is Windy, Windy, Windy Buchanan. And the person that is shaking her hand right now is one of 4 people who discovered her sister's remains when they were children. And so it was a beautiful moment. These photos, by the way, are by Dave Seifert from EYT Media, ProPoint Media in Clarion County, Pennsylvania. He takes terrific photos. Same thing with this photo of me. That's me practicing getting ready for the live stream. I think my live stream had started happen already, but my work live stream hadn't. Wendy, I want to tell you a little bit about her. Go to my notes here real quick. Wendy was 19 years old when she was last seen. Couple things that I learned in the. Let me show you. This is a picture of a clay bust that was made from a mold of Wendy's skull to try to figure out what she may have looked like. This is a photo of that bust from back in the 90s. They put a wig on her, some a shirt to make it, would anybody recognize this person? The thing about these clay busts is you don't know what the features are of the soft tissue, what her lips may have looked like, what her nose may have looked like. You only can kind of build on the bone structure, right? There's actually one photo that I thought was pretty close, but here, let's see, here is a picture of Wendy Buchanan supplied by her sister Tanya. Brown-eyed girl, 19 years old. She and her family were it kind of felt like from what Drew was saying that there was some turbulence in the family, but a family that still loved each other very much. She was 19 years old. She was from Louisville, Kentucky. She was the oldest of 5 siblings. The last words anybody ever heard her say in her family were, "Bye, Dad, I'm leaving." And off she went. I do not know the delta, the gap between the time she went missing and the time that her body was found. Her body was badly decomposed, so we don't know exactly how long that was. And some of those questions won't be answered because they want to protect the investigation. I asked a couple of questions of District Attorney Welsh, and both of those answers were withholding that. But here are pictures from Wendy's life. So Penny Doe is no longer Penny Doe. Penny Doe is now Wendy Buchanan, a beautiful young woman from Louisville, Kentucky, who lost her life and whose body was found by 4 children, badly decomposed and laying face down in a creek. 3 of those 4 children were there today, by the way, at the press conference. One lives, I understand, in Utah. And then 3 of the locals, a brother and a sister, and then one of the siblings from the other family was there, and they greeted Tanya, and it was a beautiful, beautiful moment. Tanya's provided pictures of her when she was younger too. Pictures with the whole family. Those, I believe, are the 5 siblings. And, the one with her face covered probably was not one of the siblings. But there is Wendy and Tanya, and looks like 2 little brothers and a little sister with their dad. And again, Wendy's last words to her family were, "Bye, Dad, I'm leaving." Tanya described Wendy as fierce, kind, and loving. Let me go back to maybe this picture, or maybe when she was a little bit older. Let's do that. Fierce, kind, and loving. She was protective of her siblings, including Tanya, and she always thought that if she found a penny with it heads up on the ground, it would bring her good luck. And Tanya thought that that's probably the reason there were pennies in her pockets. She would pick them up and put them in her pockets. The find a penny, pick it up all day long, you'll have good luck was kind of her mantra. Tanya said they searched for Wendy for years. She prayed that she'd be found. They all did. She said their family carried a lot of grief and sadness over the last 36 years. She described finding out what happened to her sister as the answer to her deepest and longest held prayer. She had I didn't write this in my notes, but she said that the family was a forgiving family, and but wanted the person who did this to Wendy to take accountability for their actions, which I thought was a beautiful sentiment, right? Just like we are Christian and we are forgiving, but you still need to take accountability. Ohio Palm Mom, thank you very much for this super chat, and it is my pleasure covering these subjects, and I'm so glad that you guys stick around for them. So that there, my friends, is Wendy Buchanan, formerly known as Clarion County, Pennsylvania's Penny Doe, one of the longest standing mysteries in the county. District Attorney Drew Welsh said that he had hoped when he became district attorney, one of his goals was to find out the identity of Penny Doe. He described the process of, he said in 2023, they got a grant that they had applied for a total of 2 times and got it on the second time for funding for genetic genealogy. He did point out that DNA had been extracted from her remains before, and I know that to be true. Dr. Dirkmott told me that and showed me that. They had been sent into CODIS long before genetic genealogy was a thing. No matches, of course. I found Penny's remains in 2022. To my knowledge, nobody knew where the remains were, though they could have found them. I mean, it's not like it wasn't all that hard. But Dr. Dirkmott, I mean, it was a dusty old box in 2022. Drew said that in 2023 they got the grant money, and in 2024 Othram Labs traced her DNA. They were able to extract, amplify, and map the genome, and then upload it to a public database where genetic genealogists were able to track her to her sister, Tanya. Then they went and got a sample from Tanya and did a direct one-to-one comparison, and they were matched as sisters. And that is how that worked. Tanya traveling up, I don't know where she traveled from. I don't know if she is still in Louisville, Kentucky or not. District Attorney Welsh asked us to not ask Tanya any questions today. She had originally wanted to stay anonymous, but ultimately gave a statement, which was a beautiful thing. I did not ask her any questions. I did pass along my contact information in case she ever wants to reach out, which is her prerogative, her privilege, and I am. I wouldn't say I'm happy for her. I'm happy that the family has answers, I guess, either way, whether I talk to her or not. But that is, well, it's not a case closed because they don't know what happened to her. I asked District Attorney Welsh what happens with the investigation now. Will this lead to more clues? And he said any new information has a possibility of leading to more clues. So that was our day. And if you are interested in watching the live stream of the press conference and seeing what District Attorney Welsh had to say and what Tanya had to say, they're on my channel. You can go check them out. It was a almost religious experience. It was really beautiful. Skip 1766 says, regarding the facts presented today, Wendy was with family, including 2 brothers, when she left. What would have caused her to abruptly leave? Might investigators be looking into the brothers? I don't know what investigators are doing, but she wasn't the first to leave her family. It sounded like a tumultuous childhood to me. That's what it sounded like to me. I don't know. Patricia says that bus looked First Nation to me. Maybe it's the hair. I don't know. Yeah, a little bit. Gavin, was there any family in Pennsylvania? We do not know that. Clarinet Girl says, I remember the penny loafers with an actual penny placed in the shoe started in the 50s. Yeah. Penny loafers are still a thing. I personally want to get some horse bridle loafers. I don't have a pair of loafers. Mooney says, loved the name Wendy. After hearing the description about her, Wendy is fitting. She sounds like such a free spirit. Mooney says, loved your show today. Linda says, I remember this clearly from 1990. I watched part of it live and part of it on replay. Well, thank you very much for doing that. Nina says, my phobia, and I know it sounds silly, is a fear of butterflies and moths. Interesting. Carol says, was watching this. I'm from Clarion, PA. Glad you are here. Becky says, I have a phobia of one of my children or grandkids drowning. I don't think that's an irrational fear. 2, there are too many memories I would like to erase. And 3, people in Utah are cray-cray. It's possible. It's possible. Clarinet Girl says, I have acrophobia. Would love to erase memory of losing my balance, falling on pavement, and shattering my shoulder in 2019. Ugh. I've broken both of my kneecaps. Those aren't the only bones in my body that I've broken, but I broke both of my kneecaps. But the memory of doing it is my favorite part. Mooney says, as a young child, starting around 7, my stepdad would hand me a shovel and tell me to go and chop off the heads of copperheads sunning themselves on our long driveway. I hated that job. Woo! Wow. Robin says, my older stepkids didn't want their little sister to come downstairs and mess with their stuff, so they told her there is a kitty snake downstairs. Just a weighted draft dodger cat body. That's funny. That is funny. Question number 1 from Jenny says, yes, I have an extremely unrational fear of all creepy crawlies. Please just stay away from me, bugs and snakes. That's funny. Joetta says, Hillbilly made a family tree last night. Okay, I will check in with Elizabeth. And then Hearsay in a Handbag says, do you think G2 DNA warrant was because one of minors had a child as a result of SA? Possibly, or there was a rape kit done or something like that. I don't know. It's possible. Sure. Great comment. Archangel, please create a family tree. I'm a little lost. I will do my best. Tina May says, seeing you from the shoulders down today during your stream, you look great. Well done getting fit. Thank you. And I'm not quite done yet, but thank you very much. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much for sticking around all the way to the end. Thank you for keeping it classy. Thank you for, just for the whole thing. I will see what I can dig up on the rest of the Siders case, whether it's tangential or not. This has become huge case. I will continue to dig on that. Special thank you to my moderators today, Robin, Mooney, and Elizabeth. Thank you very much for taking care of us today, for keeping the chat engaged and classy as always. Remember that you can follow me on Facebook or my website, gavinfish.com. There are always links down in the description below. And then lastly, there's also a link to Patreon, so I guess that's second to last. And for those of you in the Rewatch crew, if you are a Spotify Premium member, it goes a long way to helping me out to listen over there. There's also a link down in the description below on how to find me over on Spotify. With that, I bid you adieu. Thank you very much for being here. We'll catch you on the next one.